It's 7 o'clock here in Ventnor, New Jersey, and Bethesda, Maryland. And this is Saturday night with Zach and Ray. How the hell are you tonight, handsome? You look a little, frazzled, a little tired, a little worn out.
What? Okay. Before we went live, I was upset with my dad because he made a comment that we were running late, and then immediately we get on and you say I look tired. What are you doing, man? Why?
Well, you moved today. You did a lot of work today, and it's hot where you live, and that tires people out.
But why? Why you don't tell someone? That's like telling someone.
You're damn good looking, though.
All right, let's get into it, man. Stop. You. I'm sensitive tonight. All right. So in the comments in the chat, I'm sensitive.
I can see that. Jeez.
We are doing something new, something special. I didn't even tell my dad about this. So let's see how upset he gets with me. I have created a spreadsheet. Okay, this spreadsheet has all of the reporters and bookers and journalists that we've reached out to over the past couple weeks about the FTC stuff, and we're going to be digging into the FTC stuff tonight. My big ask of everyone that has joined us, I'm about to drop this link in the chat, and we'll put it scrolling on the screen. On this page are a bunch of journalists that report on things like the FTC's regulations against car dealers and how we are all standing up and saying, hey, these are good regulations. We have put together this list. We have put together this email template that you can copy and send out. And then there is a form. This form is super simple. We were just asking, did you contact a reporter with the email template and put your email address? And Dad, I didn't tell you this, but you're going to have to give some folks some phone calls and leave some voicemails. And we're going to be sending out some YAA merch as well for those of you who contribute here. Not everyone. We're going to do a bit of a contest. We'll randomly draw some folks. But Dad, there you go. There you go. Something new tonight, something we're asking everyone to contribute to. Let me drop that link in the chat. What are your thoughts?
Well, obviously, if we can't get it done on our own, then we need all the help we can get. And if they hear enough requests from, I guess, people out there that maybe, just maybe, 1, 2, 10, 20, 40, 50 of these reporters will finally say, well, maybe it's time for us to get in touch with the good folks over at your Advocate Alliance. And what the hell is that?
That's the URL. Wait, let me make it a little shorter. Okay, give me a second here.
Yeah, sure. And maybe they should find out what we're doing on behalf of consumers out there when it comes to trying to stand up to car dealerships and the practices, a lot of the illegal practices that many dealerships tend to employ. So
now I saw that, and I'm gonna get a shorter link in there in a second. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so I guess I'm okay with it. I'm not allowed to get upset with you. So yeah, I think it's great, honey.
We went with, for tonight's title, This Will Be What Kills Car Dealerships. So Dave B, we love Dave B. Thanks for being here, Dave. I'm going to have to start to look for a new job. And Dad, it's for what you just said. Yes. The reason, and what I think, the reason I came up with tonight's title in the way that I did, Dad, is because if you start to read those comments that are posted, for the FTC, it's clear as day that all of the illegal tactics, those are the ones that are going to ultimately make enough people upset that that'll be what sends car dealerships the way of the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Well, it'll either send car dealerships away, or ultimately, what will happen is that maybe dealer principals at these dealerships will finally come to the conclusion that perhaps there's a better way. Justice said access was denied.
I just updated it. That was the test to make sure that everyone was clicking on it.
Oh my God. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that all dealerships are bad, because not all dealerships are. There's a rather healthy percentage of dealerships that are bad. I know that there's a lot of people that work in dealerships or manage dealerships who would like to believe it's not them, and that they think it's a very small percentage of dealerships that are out there trying to muddy the waters and take advantage of customers. But we can tell you from the comments that we see, the comments that we get on our channels, uh, it's not a small number of dealerships, based on the comments that we see. It's I don't want to say it's most, but I wouldn't be surprised if the number of shady dealerships was closer to 60, 70, 75%, or maybe even higher. Um, and that a lot of these people that are managing their dealerships who think they're doing the right thing and really aren't, because they're not making it as transparent or as customer friendly as they could, uh, need to rethink how it is that they're doing their business, and maybe pay a little more attention to what the customers are feeling.
Let's actually take a look at a story that was just posted on the community forum that made me think, okay, we should be talking about this tonight. There's two. One here from Wesley Miller that was posted just yesterday. Dad feels deceptive, is what Wesley said. Was in the market for an EV and had settled on an all-wheel drive Kia EV6 at Raleigh Kia in Palmdale, California. Did my research through YAA, including Black Book trade-in estimates, as well as an in-person appraisal at CarMax. Feeling confident the vehicle was 80 out of 100 on the negotiation score, that I would come out with a fair deal using Dad, Pops, your techniques. After arriving at the dealership, my confidence shrank as I had to hunt down and ask for a sales associate. That's not a good start. Once I got a
Mhm.
hold of someone, I quickly discovered that the vehicle I had been looking at and knew they had in possession for 50 plus days was not actually for sale. It was the dealership owner's personal ride. Still, a check on their website in YAA today, it shows that as new inventory with the sale price, definitely left a sour taste for me. And I even told the sales associate that I felt deceived. His response, quote, okay, then leave. I've got another one here, Pops, in a second. But again,
may
stories like these.
may I say that was really a very empathetic response by the salesperson. Hey, if you're not willing to just flop and pay too much for the car, and just do what we tell you to do, then good riddance. Because I'm gonna find that easy sale, so that I don't really have to work to sell the car. I'm just looking for, as they're referred to in the business, as flops, people that come in and just go okay.
Dad, why, if I'm Kia, do I want to have that story out there perpetuating itself? Honestly, I'm not
Um,
saying dealerships are going extinct today or tomorrow. Really, I'm not. But I mean, if you're Kia and you hear these stories, what's going through your head? Why on the sales side are we still relying on that to take place? Because
um,
it crushes the brand loyalty. And we see it on our videos that there is truly brand loyalty when people really like the product. Toyota, for example. That's a terrible experience.
Um, yes, and it starts at that dealership. It starts with the dealer principal. Okay, and what I mean by that is, if it's okay for a salesperson to say to the the dealer principal's customers, well, okay, then leave. Well, that's because he hears it from the owner. Okay, where the owner would say, "Hey, if these people don't want to pay what we're asking for, don't waste your time with them." It's the whole concept of sales is building some type of relationship, making some type of human connection, so that somebody would actually want to spend their money with you. And a lot of these owners have lost sight of that. A lot of these owners have forgotten who it is that puts food on everyone's table. It's not the manufacturer, okay? It's the customer. If the dealership buys the car and no one comes in and buys the car from the dealership, they're not making money. So ultimately it's the customer that's putting food on the table for the dealer principal, for the salespeople, for the finance people, for the managers, and so they lose sight of that, and they forget to treat the customer with the importance and care and honesty that somebody spending that kind of money, it not only deserves, but is entitled to. So Kia, Hyundai, they've always been lower tier mass market brands, and haven't necessarily attracted maybe the level of ownership on the dealer side of things that maybe today they would look for.
Let's do another example, Dad, this time from Hyundai. This is actually, and this is the power of what we've built here with YAA in the community, and it's nice to see everyone here with us tonight, Dad. This was literally posted 20 minutes ago, okay? Urgent help, 2023 Hyundai Tucson Limited all-wheel drive. Ready for this, Pops?
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I urgently need your help. I'm looking to buy a Hyundai Tucson Limited all-wheel drive, black exterior, gray interior. The dealer I went to in Illinois no longer has the 2022 model I want and will not be getting it the rest of the year. Instead, they have it in the 2023 model, which is coming soon, and I am interested in purchasing it. I went to this dealer on July 26th to put a $500 100% refundable deposit to reserve the car. I followed the factory ordering video and felt super prepared to negotiate at the time of reserving my vehicle, being prepared to sign a buyer's order, etc. I brought in my exact build sheet and gave him a physical copy. The salesman was brand new and told me it was his first or second day when I asked to discuss the OTD price and sign a buyer's order. He said, quote, "We haven't received the 2023 price breakdown yet because it hasn't even been built yet." When I asked him again if I could get a better understanding of the OTD price before I gave the deposit, he went to ask someone and returned with saying it will be the exact same price, just $400 more because it's the 2023 model. At that point, I asked one more time about a buyer's order, and he said no. I didn't want to be pushy or rude since it was his first day, so I gave the deposit and headed out. He also mentioned that it was on his priority list, that I was on his priority list for the reserved car. A week later, I thought it was enough time to receive a price breakdown and called only to find out that the salesman had quit in the first week and my deposit wasn't fully confirmed in their system. I was handed over to another salesman and he confirmed my reservation, but gave me the same kind of answer when asked about the OTD price, that we don't have the price breakdown yet, but they would follow up with me in the next few days. The next day, I followed up with an email because I was getting concerned about being ripped off. I wrote a lengthy email making sure that since the first salesman was no longer working there, that my discussions about price, model, color, etc. were all conveyed to the new salesman and that my deposit was received. I asked him to give me an OTD price breakdown because as a client, I need to know what I put a deposit down for and have some reassurance. I want to spend some time talking about this, Dad, and the fact that the first salesperson quit.
Mhm.
He understood my concerns, replied the next day with this quote in his email. "Hi, Zaina. Attached is the breakdown. These prices are non-negotiable, but best in market." And this to be clear, I'm gonna say only includes, Dad, $1,500 in optional accessories and a $346 license title fee, $325 doc fee. So only about $2,000 in fluff. This should have been done when the deposit was made. Chris, the first salesman, was in training at the time and is no longer with the company. If you do not agree with these numbers, we will be happy to refund you the deposit. Please advise. I was disappointed because they came prepared to negotiate, so on and so forth. So, Dad, this story here,
Mhm.
let's give some advice to Zaina as well. This story hits on two of the biggest pieces, I think, that are going to be what hold back car dealerships from advancing in this new model and, quite frankly, from just advancing in general in this 21st century. Those pieces, Dad, being there is such turnover on the
Mhm.
salesperson level, okay? And so you try and build relationships. Well, if that salesperson's with you for a week, it's hard to build that relationship. And then
Yes.
you're spending $30,000+ of the average transaction price on a new car is north of $40,000, Dad, and you can't even get your hands on what the price is. Like, can you communicate how like crazy these things are?
Well, I'm just betting that you could go to the Hyundai website, the Hyundai USA website. You could probably build the exact vehicle that you want on their website, and it'll probably tell you what the MSRP is the way you build it. Um, so uh, that particular dealership, they're training whatever salespeople they have to be as evasive as they possibly can be, and to just keep sloughing it off so that they don't ultimately have to answer the question. Um, in a situation where you're dealing with somebody that's new and been on the job, this was his first or second day, great. Talk to the sales manager. Talk to somebody that actually knows what the heck's going on, not only within the confines of the dealership, but the person that has contact with the factory sales representative from Hyundai. Um, customers as a customer, we want it to be as easy as it can be. At the dealership level, they try and to make it as confusing and difficult as they can be. As the salesperson, we can't or as the customer, we can't feel bad that it's the salesperson's first or second day. That should never enter into whatever it is we, as the customer, are trying to accomplish. So part of it has to be the sales or the customer standing firm and saying, hey, I understand it's your first day or it's your second day. I understand you don't have the answers. So, to make my life easier and maybe to help you so it could be a learning experience for you, why don't we go get the sales manager to see how he can help me get this information that I need? And you can learn as we're going through that, so you can see how the whole situation works. So it's just it's A, it's lack of training. It's B, it's obfuscation, not wanting to share the information that a customer requests or needs. And then they get your money, and then later, after they get your money, they tell you, oh, by the way, there's $1,500 worth of crap we're putting on the car whether you want it or not. Well, that's something that should have been discussed before you ever give them your money. That's why you go in to do this, is so that you can know exactly what it is they're talking about, and they can know exactly what it is that you're talking about and expecting.
Pops, I want to pull up on the screen, and I want to go back and actually give some advice for Zaina as well, because it's a terrible experience. And before we do,
Oh,
Troy B
absolutely.
here in the chat, it's a fun avatar. Just bought a 2023 Elantra, saved money using your advice. That's awesome. Love to hear that. That's great.
And
Thank you, Troy,
you
for
for the
sharing that.
donation. That's very kind.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Dad, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull up and share it on my screen. I've referenced this before in the past. Gallup puts out an annual trustworthiness of profession poll. Okay, it
Okay.
ranks.
Yes.
It asks people to rank the how likely you are to trust someone from very high, average, low, very low, no opinion. Pops, I'm gonna zoom in here. This is for just car salespeople over the years.
Yes.
Let's look. Let's see. Maybe they're getting more trustworthy, less trustworthy. I mean, we can go all the way back to the 70s, Dad, where 2% of consumers thought very highly of the trustworthiness of car salespeople. And you can see it's always been that way. 2,
Yep.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And it's no different now. 1%.
And
7%
we know
say
why
high.
that
Yeah.
is. Yeah. I
It's
mean, you
just
know
clear as
exactly
day.
why that is, because the salespeople are trained not to provide the customers with the information that they're asking for. If
There's only
somebody
one
wants to know the
profession
out the door
below them,
number,
Dad.
what was that, honey?
There's only one profession below them, lobbyists. Like car salespeople are below members of Congress on this list.
Well, there are any number of members of Congress who actually own automobile dealerships. uh, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm not passing judgment. Okay, maybe I am. But we know why it is. We know how salespeople are trained. We know that dealerships want to keep operating where the customer is in the dark. It's like mushrooms. You keep them in the dark, and you keep them loaded with S. Um, you know, uh, and that's what it is. And it literally doesn't have to be that way. I mean, I've run dealerships where it was not that way. That if a customer asked a question, uh, we would provide them with the answer. I don't know how many daily meetings or sales meetings I had where salespeople, when they would get assigned an internet lead that came in, and they would just give a generic answer and never answer the customer's question. And I used to tell them, I said, if they're asking a question, give them the answer. Okay. You're going to separate yourself from everybody else because you're actually the one willing to provide them with the information that they're asking for, because and I know the dealership down the street will not. And you very likely could earn the reward of selling a car because you were the only one that was willing to share the information that they asked for.
Yeah.
It's so much easier just to do it that way. It's so much easier to be transparent.
let's jump to the chat here for a second. There's a lot of great comments. And Zaina, thanks for being here with us. We're going to turn back to your story as well. And I really want to challenge you, Pops. I want to stand firm and challenge you. How are we going to help Zaina take next steps with their car deal? And I also want to pull up, Mike says the 2023 Tucsons aren't up yet on the Hyundai website. So that'll
Okay.
influence our thinking a little bit as
Sure.
well. Core Guy's got a great point here. Zach, on the
Okay.
other hand, customers with unrealistic expectations or uninformed about price is also a big problem, as big a problem as car salesmen. Asking for a $200 a month payment for a brand new Scat Pack Hemi, etc. And we see this 100%. We see this, and that's why, honestly, part of why I think car dealerships will go extinct is also because of that. It really shouldn't be this game of skill to ultimately get a better price, and it shouldn't be a battle, Dad, that the salesperson and sales manager has to go into on the other end. The inefficiency of buying a car is just through the roof, and it's because if you have information asymmetry on those that flop, you can just make more money. What a
Yeah.
stupid industry. That's predicated on like very stupid principles, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I don't disagree, but Core Guy is exactly right. Okay, in that part of the equation, and a big part of the equation is for the customer before they go in to look at a vehicle to understand how that's going to relate to them on in most cases on a budgeted monthly basis. Okay,
Yeah.
you need to know as a customer, there's certain things you need to know. You need to know what your credit score is if you're planning on financing a vehicle. You need to know approximately what type of interest rate with your credit background you're going to be able to qualify for. You need to know how much cash or trade equity you can really be bringing to the table on this transaction. Okay. And you need to understand completely what you can afford to pay on a monthly basis, because more than likely 90% of the customers out there make monthly payments. The vast majority do not walk in and pay cash for a vehicle. So if you know your credit score, if you know how much money, cash or trade equity, you can put down, and you know what a monthly budget is that's affordable, now you have to figure out how much. If my monthly budget is $500 a month, and I want to finance it for 72 months, 6 years, okay, and the interest rate's going to be 5.9%, what does that translate into as the amount of money that I can finance?
Pops,
And
I think go.
well, I was just, once you know that, and once you have that combined with your down payment, then you know what your out the door number could be. So if that translates into $30,000 and you have $10,000 to put down, then you know you need to be looking at a car that might be $36,000 plus fees, not a car that's $45,000 or $46,000 plus fees.
So
So
the reason I wanted to interject that is because now I keep cutting you off. All right, go.
well, I was just going to say, so it's important on the customer's part to know what the hell they can afford, and there's nothing that pisses off a salesman more than a customer who doesn't have a clue about that, who comes in, as Core Guy suggests, and wants a $200 a month payment on a $50,000 car with, I don't know, no money down. Okay, so there has to be reasonable expectations, and part of those reasonable expectations is the customer doing their part to know what it is they really can afford and how much they can be looking at in the cost of a car. And if you know that, then it makes it more difficult for a salesperson to take advantage of you. And realistically, a good salesperson would want to help you figure that out.
So
I'm
what
done.
was I trying to interject with so many times? What do you think?
What?
Nothing. You got nothing?
What? What do you want me to say? I'm just
No, Dad. I said. What do you think I was trying to interject with so many times?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I got nothing. Go
You
ahead.
really got nothing. That's a little disappointing, Pops.
I got nothing.
Why do you think we're working on partnering with all the credit unions? Because you're talking about how you need to know what your credit score is. I feel like we're
Mhm.
doing one better, Dad. You need to go in with your pre-approval. That's why we're partnering with the credit unions. We're not live with them yet. We're negotiating terms and everything, and we're going to be selling at buy rate, like we've always coached everyone on from credit unions. Why do you think we've stood up the insurance piece? So that you can know what your insurance cost is going to be on that car that you're going to want to buy. Why do you think when you search for cars, when you search for your Acura MDX, it has the out the door price here, because we want you to know what the out the door price actually is, or at least have an estimate of it before you actually get to the dealership. And even, Dad, why did we go so far as add in the CarWiser, sell your car thing? Man,
Mhm.
our website is slow. It's so annoying how slow it is. There we go. We also added the CarWiser to get the real-time offers from all the different iBuy places,
Mhm.
Carvana and CarMax and Car Gurus, etc. Why do we do all that? Because ultimately, Dad, what I'm getting at is why'd we buy CarEdge.com? Why'd we buy CarEdge? So you can know what the total cost to own the vehicle over 5 years is going to be.
One
My
would
point
hope.
being, Dad, my point being, I feel like everything that you just said, which I 100% agree with. But everything that you just said, no group has ever come together to actually build those tools and give them to people. No one has ever done that before. And I think we're the closest to actually having done it, because what everyone else does, Dad, is they start building those tools and then they just farm you out to the dealer, farm you out to the dealer.
Well,
And man, you're so right. Everyone needs that information. I really hope we're able to finally get there and really give it to people rather than just say, hey, this is what you should go do. Like, no, here are the steps. You just click the buttons and you go.
here's one more piece you need to add to that puzzle on your YAA website, and that is your payment calculator. So people can actually, plug into a payment calculator what the selling price they expect the car to be, what the taxes are in their particular state, taxes and tags. Typically in most states, taxes and tags and fees are going to run somewhere between 10 up to 12%, depending on how bad the sales tax is. And they can plug in how much money they have to put down so they can see what their payments are going to be. So they have a real idea as to what they're looking at. And it, Core Guy is 100% correct. Trust me. And as a salesperson, you know, salespeople hate spending time with somebody who doesn't have a clue as to where or what they can afford, and wants to look at a 50, 60, $70,000 car and wants a $350 a month car payment, with no money down. So yes, there's a big portion of this that falls on the customer to know before they go in. There's a big portion of this that falls on the dealership to do it in an open, honest, and transparent manner, so that the whole process shouldn't take 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 hours. It should be, here's the price of the car, here's what the fees are going to be. With your cash down, here's what your payment's going to be. Does that work for you? Let's go make this happen. And it can be
100%,
done that
Dad.
way. It can be. And yeah, God bless you for spending the time, effort, and energy to try and put all those resources in one place for people. And
Gonna take a little while longer, but yeah, we're definitely working on it. Let's jump back to the chat, Dad. Troy B here, who got that Elantra deal, asked to see invoice, asked about buy rate, sale rate, negotiate APR down 2 points by telling dealer I will just call a lender to find the rate they quoted me. He wasn't happy, LOL. But honestly, you know what? They may have been happy because you were an educated and informed buyer, probably a quicker deal than it would have been
and
otherwise.
And if I may, don't be upset if a dealer doesn't want to show you the invoice, because there's nothing that says they have to. Um, but if I were a dealer and you came in and you asked me to see the invoice, I would be more than happy to share it with you. I would also be more than happy to let you know that we're not negotiating from invoice up or invoice down. We're not negotiating anything below MSRP, depending on the brand of car that we have. But yes, I'll be more than happy to share the invoice with you so you can see exactly what we're making on the limited supply of cars we have. Um, and I would never have a problem with that. I would never have a problem sharing that information with a customer if they wanted to see it. If the, can during the Great Recession, when
Yeah.
I was at Acura North Scottsdale, one of the things that I did to try and make life easier for everybody, and this was what, in 2007, 2008, um, I got a whiteboard, okay, and a tripod, and we put the whiteboard right by the reception desk when you walked into the showroom. And what it said was, um, Acura TLs. We would sell it to you at invoice plus $250 less whatever the dealer incentive was at the time. And at that time, maybe it was $1,500 or $2,000. So you picked out the car you wanted, you got the stock number. We brought out the invoice to that car. You could see what it was. We would add the $250 to it, and then we would subtract the rebate. I, you know, I don't know how you could make it any easier or any quicker for people. Um, and we had that listed, and we updated it every month when we got new incentives, so people would know exactly what we were going to ask them to pay for whatever model they were interested in. Uh, I wanted to cut down the amount of time it took to sell the car.
Yep. I hear you loud and clear. We've got Chad. And Chad, I've got a couple of your messages pinned. I'm going to pull them up in a second here. Ray, that tactic works most of the time, but many customers want to win with a better price. And that's 100% right. Like I know you experienced that as well, Dad. And you've shared stories, countless stories. Go for it.
No, what?
Stories
The
of,
win.
Yeah.
The win is for everybody. If they want to see the invoice and you show them the invoice and you tell them straight up, you ain't buying it for invoice. I'm not selling it for invoice. I don't get enough cars to be able to do that. And here's why. And here's what we're going to sell it for. And if there's $100 somewhere in here, we'll figure it out. If you're looking for thousands, unfortunately, in today's marketplace, that's not going to be the case on vehicles that are in short supply. Now, if you're looking at a Stellantis product or a Ram truck or even Fords at this point in time where they have inventory, okay, then you can take a different tact. But if you're looking at Toyotas, if you're looking at Honda, if you're looking at Subaru, where there is no inventory, a win is being able to buy it at MSRP right now.
For some brands, I've seen some Ram
Well,
trucks
that's what I
that are
said.
still marked up. Yeah, still marked up above MSRP, and I look at them, and people send them to me on Instagram, and I make TikToks about them because I want people to know you should never be paying. And at any point in this market, should you ever be paying over MSRP on a new Ram truck? People are getting them for well under
Yes.
MSRP. Want to remind everyone, Dad, there is a link scrolling around at the bottom of the screen. Join YAA.com/reporters. Why is that link there? Because we are asking the community to help us tonight. We have shared a Google sheet with all of the reporters and bookers and journalists that we've reached out to about the ongoing FTC public comment period with regards to car dealership rules. This list that you can access if you go to that URL I just sent you also contains the steps you need to take to contact one of these reporters, or two, or three, or four. There is a copy paste, and here I'll even get rid of this line so that folks aren't confused. There you go. Here's a subject line. Here's a body. Copy paste it. Then just submit this form, which again is linked right here. This form, and you get a chance to win a voicemail from my dad or some custom YAA merch, maybe even both. There's only one question. Did you contact the reporter? Just say yes or no. So this is the big push tonight. I've been trying with the team, with Justin and James on the team for 2 weeks now. We've been contacting reporters. No one has taken us up on the offer to do a story. I'm thinking maybe if we get enough emails in their inboxes, they'll have to respond to us or maybe think about doing a story about this, because we want them to be publishing the fact that the FTC has this open public comment period about these dealership rules that would, we think would be brilliant. They should be enforced.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I think it's a great idea. You've heard me say it before. There's safety in numbers. The more people we can get to make comments on the FTC, the more people we can have contact people in the press to say, hey, you need to talk to these guys. You need to help them spread the word. Then the greater likelihood that perhaps something will happen that will benefit consumers out there.
Some interesting comments here. Alex says, I don't know what happened, but my Google Home just thought Zach asked to play Still Dre from Dr. Dre and started the song. Interesting. Kate reminding us that the Ram 1500 is overstock. You can get it at almost invoice 2023 is building now, 100%. And Pops Tommy wants to know if you can record his Tinder intro.
Yeah. Because the important thing in this Tinder intro is the gals always swipe right.
Pops, let's actually do it right now. No, we can do it right now.
Do you swipe left or right if you want to on Tinder? Here, I have no idea. Yeah.
3.
Hey, if you're interested in Tommy, do yourself a favor. Swipe right. Send him a message. He could be there for you. Oh my God.
I'm going to go under the desk.
Oh, please don't. Jeez. Was that okay,
We
Tommy?
will be doing a few more of those tonight if anyone else wants.
Jeez. Yeah. I have no shame. I do apologize.
I want to pull up this comment here from Tellen. Let's see if we can switch gears. After the FTC rules go into effect, I would imagine advertised prices will skyrocket, but eventually will come down as dealers try and compete with each other, which I think is the point. Part of what's proposed in the FTC's rule is that the advertised price is actually the price of the vehicle. And so they would also require you to include all these accessories, F&I products, things like that. And to Tellen's point, I think it would be hilarious. You go on our car search right now, Dad, and we have 2 prices listed, and one of them is higher than the advertised price. That's what it should be. Everyone should be putting out the real price, and that's exactly what would happen, right? Like the prices would go up, and then to compete, people would bring the prices down. Oh, and here we go from Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy.
It's hard to switch gears when you do this, Tommy.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, and I don't even know what the hell Tinder is, but I just know you're either swiping left or you're swiping right. Yeah. What would be nice is, and I think Tellen's correct. Prices that'll be advertised will be higher because you'll be forced to average. What could happen is instead of dealers actually pre-installing all the crap on cars that they put on cars, if they had to advertise their cars with all that crap in there, the price would be so high so that this could be novel, but they might actually have to try and justify it by selling it to you to get you to buy it when you come in. There have been dealerships that have aftermarket managers, and all they did is once the salesperson got the customer to say yes and agree to a number, that they would then go see the aftermarket manager who would try and sell them on wheels or tires or tint or the $4,000 ceramic paint coat or this or that. And yeah, wouldn't that be a novel approach to actually have to build value and sell that crap instead of forcing it down people's throats? So ultimately, I think maybe we would actually see dealers not do that as much and advertise their cheapest cars.
Yeah, 100%, Dad. And that's exactly what we want to see, right? Like, why not actually... And quite frankly, that pushes us even further in the direction of why I think this ultimately kills the dealership model is the price is just going to be the price, which is what it should have always been, but it became this game of skill.
Yes.
And so, and here you go. Here you go. Chad's right. Some of the accessories push it from the OEMs we are talked to monthly by the reps. Man, this is so true. So true. You see it with Toyota a lot in their distributors as well. So it's not just a dealership problem, it's a distributor problem and an OEM problem. But before we jump into that, Dad, just want to thank Mark. Mark, you have been a long time supporter of the channel,
Mark.
and we really appreciate it. We hope that you are doing well, and thank you for supporting us. But Dad, talk a little bit about that. What does come from the OEMs? What does come from the distributor?
Well, OEMs talk out of both sides of their mouth because there's this thing called CSI, the Customer Satisfaction Index, and damn it, we want you to be at like 97, 98% of your customer, and we don't want you to fall below average. Well, now you really need to be selling more parts and accessories. Well, you know, what is it? I mean, what is it that you really want? If do you really want us to sell parts and accessories and force them on customers, um, or and piss them off, or do you want us to take really good care of the customers so that there's a reason that they could say good things about us? I used to tell my salespeople, if you literally really make it a pleasant experience for people when they're buying the car, you won't have to beg them to give you a good survey. They'll feel compelled to because they've never experienced buying a car like that before. And the fact that the manufacturers push, their parts and service reps push you to hit these crazy objectives for accessory sales and things like that, they become competing interests. And that's what the problem is. It would be like going to a Ritz Carlton, and the rate's $4.99 a night, plus the $45 resort fee. But that robe in the closet, you touch that robe, that's an extra $10, buddy. You actually put that robe on, that'll be $20. Okay, you open the mini bar. Just open it. It's $20. Don't take anything out of it, because if you touch anything, that's the type of thing. So you have to decide. The manufacturer has to decide, the dealership has to decide, what's my business model going to be? Am I going to be here to sell people cars in an honest, open, and transparent manner, or am I going to try and keep and placate my factory rep, who might have a slightly different approach than I would have when it comes to taking care of a customer? And trust me when I tell you this, when most manufacturers are given the opportunity to do the right thing for a customer, and Josh in Colorado, the Grand Wagoneer owner, is the perfect example of this. When manufacturers are given the opportunity to do the right thing, ultimately they usually pass. Okay, so if they're not going to do the right thing, why would you expect the dealer to do the right thing?
Yeah, well said, Dad. And I'm trying. I'm gonna actually do it on my phone really quick and send myself this so I can pull it up on the screen. I want to talk a little bit about the distributors and how they end up adding products, and then talk out of both sides of their mouth. Hey, sell more cars, but also, okay, it also comes with, I don't know, $5,000 in our crap pops. I'm gonna pull this up from John first, then I'm gonna find that, email it to myself really quickly, and pull it up during the stream. This is from John, Dad, a thoughtful contribution. Such a blessing to have people like you guys. I'm planning to buy a Ford Transit, and probably I get in touch with you. I learn a lot here. Thanks. Means the world to us when we see comments like these, because we've been doing this for it'll be 3 years, Dad, from our first video going out in December. I mean, so we've been doing this for a while now, and we know we have more work to do, but it feels great knowing that we're helping people.
Well, we're trying. And I see a lot of comments on the YouTube channel that, well,
believe it or not, you read them all.
Do I ever? You were in the business for 43 years. You took advantage of people for 43 years, and now you want to make money on telling people the inside. And some of the responses to the people were pretty simple. You have no idea how I operated the dealerships that I ran, and oftentimes whatever change there's going to be, it has to start on the inside. We're counting on the FTC to come through with these rules and regulations. Hopefully we can force dealerships to do the right thing, but it's really got to start on the inside. And the way I ran dealerships was a hell of a lot different than the way most people ran a dealership. And I ran, when I ran Admiral Nissan in Pleasantville, New Jersey, which was right outside of Atlantic City. Atlantic City is not a big town. It has a population of 50, 60,000 people. So you have to figure out how to do business in a way where your customers are going to keep coming back to you. There was a reason that our dealership had the third highest CSI in the country for volume Nissan dealerships, the third highest, because we took care of trying to take care of our customers. We tried to do it differently than a lot of dealerships did. And just because I worked in the industry for 43 years, it doesn't mean when I first started that I was an angel. I wasn't. I was just learning the industry, and I was learning some things that God, I wish I never knew about. But these were, these were common practices that everybody taught. Well, it didn't take me that long to say to myself, that's not how I want to do business, and I don't think that's how you need to do business. So they might have been baby steps, but they were steps trying to get whatever dealership I worked at to move in the right direction so that we could take the experience and make it a pleasant one for customers. It has to be a business decision. It just does, and most dealer principals aren't willing to make that. Yes, Pleasantville, New Jersey is an oxymoron. Yes, there's nothing pleasant about Pleasantville.
Proud of you, Dad. Always have been and will continue to be. Let's look at a few of these really quickly, Dad. I want to talk about the markups that you end up seeing and where these accessories and add-ons come from, Dad. Toyota is sadly probably the poster child of this.
God.
We've got a 2022 Tundra, okay? It's got a 42,000. Can you see that okay? 42,805.
Now I can.
$42,805 MSRP. $6,020 worth of factory installed packages and accessories, $1,521 of distributor added packages and accessories, and then $5,000 of dealer install. So can you break this down for us, Dad? What the hell are we looking at here?
Well, the distributor, what you have to realize in a lot of cases, when you see like distributor installed packages and accessories, well, the distributors have sat down with their dealers in their area and say, okay, what packages do you want us to put on the vehicles before we send them to you? Okay. So the dealers are in on the distributor installed stuff to begin with. The factory installed packages and accessories, those would be on the Monroney label, and this could just be a reflection of what those packages are that are on the Monroney label. The distributor installed packages and accessories could be on the Monroney label as well because they were done at port. They're port installed, and they can be placed on the Monroney label. But the distributor and the dealer group or dealer network didn't have to come to the conclusion that they wanted to add these things to all the vehicles that come in. And then the dealer installed packages and accessories, well, those are typically the really overpriced things that the dealer's just forcing a customer to pay in order to sell them a car. And the delivery, processing, and handling, that is pure, unadulterated BS. Okay, that's all that is, because PDI, pre-delivery inspection, which every new vehicle that comes into a dealership has to go through a pre-delivery inspection. It's mandated by every manufacturer out there. It's also paid for by the manufacturer. It is the first warranty claim that gets filed against that vehicle is the pre-delivery inspection, because the dealership gets reimbursed for doing it. So that other $1,795 is just pure unadulterated BS. And then, assuming for a moment that this is a Florida dealership, there's probably another $999 dock fee on top of all that.
I don't mind sharing the name. It is All Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, Dad. So it's All Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
I have no idea what their dock fees are, but if it's anything like Florida, it's crazy high.
$42,805 MSRP gets you to a $57,140 selling price. Your out the door price on that is probably going to be closer to $50,000, if not more.
Well, but what you have to realize is the base MSRP of the truck's $42,000, but it really did have $6,000 worth of factory packages. Okay, whatever those I mean, for instance, on my Mini, you could either buy things separately, or you can buy them in a giant package. Mine is the iconic package, which includes the vast majority of every option that you could buy on a Mini, and it came from the factory that way. So it's not fair to say. Realistically, the MSRP on that truck before distributor installed options, before dealer installed options, before processing or pre-delivery fee,
It's 10,000 in markup, not 15. Yeah.
It's really a $48,000 vehicle before they start adding all that other crap.
Pops, I also want to pull up a couple comments here. There's a lot of great comments, a lot of good conversation going on. We have from Tellen. He says, I had a KPA auditor tell me Napleton is being closely monitored by regulators, including their Florida dealerships, for compliance. Pops, we've actually received a handful of phone calls to us here at YAA. Again, we have all sorts of, like, the car search and whatnot. We've had dealers phone us. They're friendly, very friendly. They recognize we want to educate people and help them buy cars more efficiently and more fairly. They've called us because they've had states attorney generals contact them saying, hey, we need to make sure that your advertised price is actually your advertised price. So preempting the FTC, we've had folks call us and say, okay, you have this as our advertised price, but on our website, it's actually this. Can you make sure it gets up to, like, we're starting to get phone calls from dealerships saying, hey, make sure these things match, because the state AG has contacted us and said it needs to match. I'm thrilled to hear that, honestly. And of course we accommodate.
Yeah. And I would think that the price that you're showing is the price that they have actually listed on their website. Now, maybe they've updated it from yesterday to today, and I believe the technical term is we scrape the dealers' websites every night.
There you go, Pops.
In the wee hours of the morning. So there's a 24-hour period before it updates, as far as we're concerned, as to what we can show.
Yep.
Did you like that
but it's
tech
fascinating
term,
to hear that.
Yeah.
Look at this from Stig's dad. I sent a complaint to the U.S. Department of Justice Antitrust Division about Southeast Toyota distributors, saying that they need to investigate JMNA on antitrust grounds. What they are doing is anti-competitive. And let's dig into this for a minute, because Southeast Toyota distributors, SET, which would be Louisiana, that deal that we were just looking at a second ago, is owned by JMNA. JMNA sells the products like extended warranties, tire and wheel protection, etc. And they have a agency network of people that go and sell that to dealerships. Well, when you actually are the distributor to the dealership, you just add your products to it. It is anti-competitive. How can we compete? Let's say we could come along with a tire and wheel coverage. How can we possibly compete with JMNA, who's just forcing it on to the vehicle? How can we compete?
Well, you can't, and with Southeast Toyota distributors, trust me, they are sitting down with their dealer network as a group, and I guess they probably vote in a democratic manner, because I'm sure there's some dealers, for instance, Earl Stewart would be one, who would be opposed to a lot of these things that are being placed on the cars, where the customers have no choice. But they probably do it where all the dealers get together and they vote. And if the majority says this is the crap we're adding, then that's the crap Southeast Toyota distributors adds at the port. And I don't know if as a dealer you have the ability to say, no, I don't want that on the cars that come to my dealership. That I'm not sure about. We should probably ask Earl that question. But
yeah, we absolutely could.
Yeah, but it's the dealers that get with the distributor to say, okay, let's add this stuff, because the dealer knows they're going to make whatever profit they can make on those items. Obviously, the distributor's making money. So yeah, it's a combination.
Friendly reminder that our friends over at markups.org, go check it out. That's a great place to find where markups are and where markups aren't. Super encourage everyone to contribute to this website and use it as well. I'm seeing a couple chat messages, Pops, that put a sad face on vehicle search. Temporarily unavailable. Search is down. Try refreshing it. Try a different tab. I'll contact Arash. It's his wife's birthday weekend. I'm probably not going to get him to look at it. So I'm sorry. Please, just open a new tab or refresh. It should come right back up. if you're using the car search and it's not working for you. Let's look at another deal really quick, Dad,
Okay.
and maybe we'll make this part of our Saturday night segment. Let me see. I mean, I've got Toyota deals out the wazoo that all have this crap on them, but let's look at this Honda deal and talk about a little bit of the differences between this Honda deal and that Toyota deal. On this
Hmm.
Honda deal, Dad, can you see that okay?
Yeah, MSRP is 45,930.
Then we've got pinstripes, cargo tray, all-season mats, splash guards, nitro tire fill, and wheel locks for a whopping $2,500. Wow.
Okay. So
Tint for 400, low jack for 700, permaplate for 600, and then a market adjustment of $5,000. Break this one down for me, like the differences between this one and the Toyota one we were just looking
well,
at.
these are all dealer installed things. Okay. Every one of these items is dealer installed, not distributor or port installed. So pinstripes, you know, maybe the internal cost to the dealership's $50. Cargo tray. I'm going to guess the cargo tray is for a pilot is probably $150. All season mats, 125 or $150. So we're up to 350 bucks. Nitrogen tire fill is whatever the internal cost is. If it's another $50, now we're up to $400. And wheel locks, $75. So you're up to $475. They're making $2,000 on those items. Okay. Just and I'm not telling you this to say that the dealer's not entitled to make a profit on those items. They are. Every dealership is entitled to make a profit. It's the only reason they make the investment in the facilities that they do is so that they can make a profit and stay in business. Are they entitled to that type of profit? That's probably pushing it a bit, quite a bit. Tint $399 probably costs the dealer $150 to $200. Low jack probably costs the dealer around $300. Permaplate $150. Market adjustment doesn't cost them nothing. So they've added.
Wait, Dad, wait a second, Pops.
Like why?
You know how the FTC in the proposed rules it says products of no value could no longer be sold? Do you think that applies to market adjustments? I mean,
Well, no,
are you
because
buying yeah.
that's not a product. They're just telling you, this is because there's a shortage of cars. This is, what we need today. So they've added pretty close to $8,000 worth of profit to this vehicle above and beyond what was built into it from Honda. And if it's a $46,000 car, and even if it's only 8%, 4 times 8 is 32. So what, that was about 3,500. So that's $11,500 worth of profit we could be talking about just on this car. I'm not saying that a dealership's not entitled to make a profit. 11.5 might be a bit much. Now, I get it because of the severe shortages of inventory. But I think there's a way to do it where you can be more fair to your customers, and hope to retain them for a longer period of time and keep them as your customer. I keep saying it, but it's just a business decision. Do you want to do this for a long period of time, or do you just want to grab as much money, as much short-term profit as you can, knowing that you're sacrificing long-term customer retention? And too many dealers right now are saying, well, we'll sacrifice long-term customer retention for our short-term profit.
Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. I hate to say that on this show, but again, tying back to the theme of tonight's stream,
Yes.
this will be what kills car dealers. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
the bad apples are going to ruin the bunch, and eventually, it's not tomorrow, it's not next week, decades from now, I think you're going to look back and you're going to say this period of time is when we all realized, okay, this is pointless. This is pointless for the people working at the dealership. This is pointless for the people going to buy the cars. This should all be way simpler. A heck of a lot more time and money could go back into the economy, into the world, if we just made it simpler. I got a question for the chat, Dad, if it's okay. We've had
Okay.
someone in the chat ask about getting a RAV4 Prime, and Space reminded us, you're going to get it at MSRP and you're going to wait a year, and Justice corroborated that. Quick question for everyone in the chat here. If we made a video where, based on what we've learned from our community, we were able to tell you how long you should expect to wait for new cars if you order them, let me know. Is that a good idea? Do you want to see that video come out or not? I remember Justice and Space, Kimberly, I asked you guys, and Phil, if you're here, I remember asking you guys that, and you shared all that data with me. We just got to make a video. So quick question to make sure that's information that folks would like to see. Also, Pops,
Yes.
also want to
Yes.
remind everyone, yes, transparency is a buzzword, but there's a way to also do it effectively. You have people like you in those positions, or if you realize and you play the long game, that's another way to do it. I want to remind everyone that about 25 minutes ago in the stream, maybe 20 minutes ago in the stream, my dad did the Tinder intro for one of our community members. If you would like, we will do one more voiceover. We're just like, what do you think they should say in the chat? What do we say in the chat to catch our attention to do your Tinder intro for them?
I have no idea. Why do you do this to me? It's just
because it brings me great joy.
Is this to get even with me for pissing you off before we went on air?
No, it just brings me a lot of joy. I forgot about it earlier. I'm gonna. Oh. Yeah, actually, comment what you want to hear. What you want to hear Bob say.
Yeah.
Wait, let's try this one. I'll pull it up on the screen. Let's try this. Let's try. Ready?
Yeah. Hey, this is car guy. You want to get in touch with me?
Wait.
Okay.
Time out.
Start over. Okay. Well,
Pops.
Yeah.
This is coming from you, not from Core Guy, not from. Okay, this is you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. Ready?
Yeah. Hey, if you're looking for a bargain, I'm below MSRP, baby.
No.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah. Really? You had me at invoice.
So I just want everyone to know we have so much fun on these streams. Right when I get off, I send like these timestamps to your daughter, and it's just the funniest text message conversations we've ever had.
I'm certain it must be. Yeah. Nobody has disappointed your sister more in her lifetime than I have. Nobody has embarrassed her more. Nobody makes her cringe more. It's like, Dad, stop already. Why don't you have a filter? Why? You're 71. Why don't you know better? I just don't.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, here, let's call it a night, Pops. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. Friendly reminder, go to joinYA.com/reporters. Help us get the attention of some reporters about these FTC rules. There's an email template and emails that you can reach out to. If you need to buy a car, you need help, you're going to sell a car, you need help, you're going to get car insurance, you're going to get an auto loan, you're going to get an extended warranty. Yes, I said the word. JoinYAA.com. We can help you out there as much as possible. Any parting shots from you, Dad? This was quite fun. Thank you.
Well, just have yourself a fun night, handsome.
All right, wait. Let me give you the music. You ready?
Okay, yeah. Well, if you're looking for a good time, you're looking for handsome. Go ahead.
No!
I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I have a girlfriend, and we're happy. And
very.
I moved in today. I moved in.
Yeah.
News for the community. I moved in.
Yeah. We don't ever want to hear news that she threw you out. Okay. So be a good boyfriend. That's all I ask. Going? Well, Well, for those of you who didn't get enough of us tonight, Zach and I will be back Monday with news that you can use from YAA at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on the Ray and Zach channel. And if you can't wait to do this again next Saturday night, we probably won't be doing it because Zach will be in California, and I'll be damned if I'm doing this by myself. So I guess we're taking a week off next week.
I love you, Dad. Thanks for everything. Thanks everyone for being here. Hope you had fun. We'll see you back soon.
Love you too, handsome. Thanks for putting up with me.